Chapter 4. The ABCs.
We need another way to think about what caused the three different reactions. And the good news is, it's as simple as A, B, C. In this story, the snake is an A, an activating event. The responses of our three individuals is the C, the consequence that shows up as a positive, negative, or neutral feeling. And what about the history and experiences? The stories we tell ourselves about the event? Well, they go into this middle box we call B, beliefs. I like to call it the beliefs story box. Let's try this out. The snake is the activating event. If the event doesn't show up, there's nothing to respond to. In this case, the three individuals see the snake and their experiences, histories with the snake are instantly recalled. That's the B, that's the beliefs. Finally, each reacts in a logical and sensible way, each in accordance with their beliefs. That's the C, the consequences that show up in feelings and behaviors. Let's recap. Events don't cause our reactions and our emotional feelings. Rather, our reaction to the event, the C, is a result of our belief about the event. But here's a key question. Why do we call the beliefs the story box? To answer that, it helps to understand a little bit about the brain. So first, there is the neocortex, and that sits over the primitive brain, or the brain stem. Just kidding. For all of us who didn't go to med school, the primary role of the brain is to protect our life and health, with a long history of success. Therefore, the brain has to always be vigilant. Specifically, it can't just be aware of what's going on. It has to decide very quickly how that event or situation may affect our well-being. Is it good for us, bad for us, or just neutral for us? Our brains developed these abilities millions of years ago and have been doing their job ever since. So when our distant ancestors saw a snake, the brain said, "bad," and helped them instantly react without having to think about it very much. When they saw food, the brain said, "good," and our primitive ancestors instinctively picked it up and ate it. And when they saw the sun setting on the horizon, their brains probably said, "not food, not a threat," and they ignored it. This ability to see and immediately interpret was honed by millions of years of evolution, so that we don't have to think about every little thing. We just react. It saves time, and it saves our lives and our species. Now the problem, the little defect in the system that gets in the way all the time, is that the brain sacrifices quality decisions for speed. After all, the primate who stopped when he saw a snake-like shape and asked, is that really a snake, became the boa's lunch and was out of the gene pool. To keep you in the gene pool, better to just believe that anything that looks like a snake is a snake, just to be safe. The bottom line takeaway? The brain is not this rational, truth-finding weigher of pluses and minuses that we would like to think it is. Instead, it's a decision-making machine where speed is more important than accuracy or quality. Here's another example. Imagine you're driving on a freeway. You see a red light in your rearview mirror coming from behind. You also hear a police siren. Who hasn't had this experience? Those two together are the A, the activating event, right? Now, what do you think right at that moment? You probably came up with answers like, "I'm in trouble. I'm going to get a ticket." Or worse. That's the B, belief. So based on the A, the activating event, my experience tells me a quick story with a bad ending. And acting on the B, this belief, my brain produces the C, the consequential feelings and actions. Specifically, it fuels a surge of fear, tension, and anger at myself and at the system that got me trapped in this situation. I want to run for it, but I don't dare. I slow way down and begin pulling over to the right, and the police car roars right by me. He wasn't after me at all. The brain doesn't say, "Now hold it. Let's wait to react until we see if he's actually after us." The brain just reacts Better safe than sorry is its catchphrase. In that story, we made up that we were about to be pulled over, and that turned out to be inaccurate. And we make up stuff like this all the time, don't we? In fact, we all graduated from MSU, making stuff up. And all that made-up stuff ends up to be in the B box. So where is that B box? Oh yeah, right there in front of you. In that box are all the assumptions, beliefs, prejudices we construct as stories that we've held on to since we were little kids. There's all that weird stuff that your great-aunt told you when you were 8. There's all that stuff that your best friend told you about those people. And don't get started on all the stuff in there about sex that you learned from hanging around with your teenage friends. The point is that this stuff is not necessarily accurate. It's made up. But, and here's the rub, it's what we believe. And we act on what we believe. Or just say it this way, we feel the way we think. Like the police car story, all of us have been a victim of what we made up, where there's an activating event, like the lights and sirens showing up in our rearview mirror. Then we make up a conclusion, only to find out that we jumped from the wrong belief to the wrong consequence. At the time, these might have been funny or embarrassing situations, but they're all great insights into how our brain works.
Thanks, Larry. Ready for an assignment? Over the next few days, we want you to get a better insight into how your brain works. Using the ABC worksheet from your workbook, your assignment is to track 2 ABC sequences each day for at least a week. The best way to learn this way of examining your thinking is not to do it in the moment, but to examine it as if you're an historian. At the end of every day for the next week or so, use the ABC worksheet. If you don't like how you responded to an event, don't try to rationalize or reinterpret. Like a good historian, don't revise history, just write down what happened. For example, if you spilled a cup of coffee on your keyboard in front of your colleagues, said to yourself, "Oh, I'm such an idiot," and felt humiliated, just write all that down and don't revise it or edit it. The goal here is to begin to use the ABCs as a way to see how we think, feel, and act in our day-to-day world. So tell the truth to yourself, and I'll see you later. Oh, shoot. My keyboard. Oh, I'm such an idiot. Can you hand me a towel to clean this up?